Current Electrifying News, Episode 4. So the first news item today is the fact that Neuralink has implanted its first implant into a human subject's brain. Now, the Federal Drug Administration, the FDA in the United States, gave permission for human trials, and the first implant has just been put into a human brain. This is the first of what could prove to be a monumental leap forwards in helping people with disabilities. And they're currently doing this for human quadriplegic volunteers initially. J.B. Straubel, who was the Tesla CTO and co-founder, before leaving, going on to found Redwood Materials, which is a battery recycling company. Now, this week, they have broken ground in South Carolina for their battery materials campus. They are expecting to produce 100 gigawatt hours of battery materials there, and the plant is costing them $3.5 billion US. Now, the factory, when it's up and running, will employ about 1,500 people and will recycle anode and cathode components and possibly process them into new battery materials. And it's hoped that at a later date, expansion will expand the production capacity to hundreds of gigawatt hours of battery components. Hyundai plans to develop an electric version of its small car called the Casper. I like that name for some reason. This is at the moment for the European market. Now, this is an EV version of its combustion engine version. And this EV version is currently in development. Now, no date has been given for its market launch in Europe. And, you know, Europe loves the smaller car due to the narrower streets there. But I think Australia could still benefit from this if they were to bring it here as a cheaper EV. And we need more cheap EVs. And they don't have to go 500, 600, 700 kilometres. 300 kilometres is more than enough for the majority of people's needs. The Chinese EV makers are taking over the world. Now, BYD, it's launching another electric model in the European market February 2024, which is right now. It's called the Seal U, and prices start from just under 42,000 euros in Germany. Now, the U stands for utility, and it's a 5-seat SUV, and it fits below the Tang 7-seat SUV, which is quite a large SUV. Now, in Europe, it's going to come in two versions, the Comfort and the Design, with the higher version being priced at just under 45,000 euros, so about 3,000 euros more. And this is going to be the sixth BYD model available there. The two cars will have the BYD LFP battery in them, obviously, and they will have either a 71.8 kilowatt hour capacity for 420 kilometers WLTP, or an 87 kilowatt hour battery for a 500 kilometer WLTP, which in real life would be just over the 400 mark. Now, once again, this car is based on the BYD E-Platform 3.0, and apparently it's going to have an 800 volt architecture. I wonder if this is going to come to Australia. Whilst we're on BYD in Europe, they plan to release a revised version of the Tang SUV later this year with higher battery capacity and higher charging rates. Now, currently it's available for a starting price of just under 56,000 euros, but I expect that that's going to increase in price when the new versions come. Battery capacity is going to increase from 86 to 108 kilowatt hours, providing a range of 530 kilometers WLTP, which is up from about 400 kilometers. AC charging is going to increase from 7 to 11 kilowatts, and it's expected that the DC fast charging will be up to 190 kilowatts instead of the 120 kilowatts. Now, this is certainly a big improvement in this luxury class SUV. It's currently getting some massive discounts from BYD in Germany, so the prices will go up. BYD, again, has entered the Rwandan market, which is East Africa. And it's entered into a partnership with the distributor CFAO Mobility, and it did that last year. The local launch of the BYD Atto 3 or Yuan Plus marks its official entry into the East African market. There was no mention of the pricing in Rwanda. Now, interestingly, Rwanda, the country, is pushing for a sustainable future, and it has plans to reduce emissions by 38% by 2030, which was really good. They also have plans to get 20% of their buses electrified. It wasn't specified if these were going to be pure battery electric or plug-in hybrid electric. But still, it's better than nothing. As I said, Chinese EVs are going to take over the world. And more proof of that, BYD has launched production at its plant in Uzbekistan. Now, Uzbekistan's president, I'm going to probably butcher this, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, I think I've got that sort of close. He was in Shenzhen with the BYD's president, Wang Chuanfu, and they participated remotely in the production launch ceremony in Uzbekistan and witnessed the first vehicle coming off the production line, a Song Plus DMI. Hopefully they're going to produce more battery electric vehicles than the plug-in hybrid variety. Porsche announced their new EV, the Macan. Now, this is Porsche's top seller in the combustion engine lineup, I think, and now it's gone electric. Dual motor, all-wheel drive, and the flagship turbo model. I don't know why they call things turbo, but anyway. It'll have a 470 kilowatts or 630 horses of power and a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour time of 3.3 seconds. Claimed range, 591 kilometers WLTP or 370 miles give or take. Now, it's on an 800 volt architecture with a battery pack of gross is 100 kilowatt hours and 95 kilowatt hours are usable, and it's got a claimed 10 to 80% charge time of 21 minutes. Now, that's rated at 270 kilowatts DC fast charging on the 800 volt architecture, or 135 kilowatts on a 400 volt architecture, and that 10 to 80% time is based on the 800 volt architecture. AC charging 11 kilowatts, which is fairly standard. In Australia, the petrol version is going to cease production or importation September 2024, and it will be purely EV after that. Good things. Some are claiming it's going to be a competitor for the Tesla Model Y, the BMW iX3 and the Mercedes EQC, which I can understand because it's got a price in Australian dollars of $133,700 for the base model and $180,100 for the turbo. I can't see that competing with the Model Y because even the performance Model Y is $20,000 Australian cheaper than the base model Macan. In Europe, industrial pollution costs 4.3 trillion euros in the last decade in health and environmental damage. And guess what? Coal is the major problem. Now, this is according to the European Environmental Agency. The EEA found that just 1.1% of the industrial facilities in Europe caused 50% of the total damage. And 50 of those were coal-fired power stations. Well, there you go. In Australia, we've got Queensland wanting to approve more coal mines and coal-fired power stations and so on. They're going to have rocks in their bloody head. Or perhaps it's just the mighty dollar talking. Origin Energy is going to build a 650 megawatt hour or 300 megawatt battery in Victoria. And it's going to build it next to its main gas generator in Victoria, Australia. and they've chosen Fluence to build the project, who are a US-based energy storage system supplier. Now, their CEO, Frank Calabria, said in a statement that Origin's strategy is to accelerate renewable energy and storage in their portfolio, and that they expect large-scale batteries and other storage technologies to play a vital role in Australia's energy transition. Good stuff. Tesla Model 3 Performance may be going on sale in China in the second quarter with a purported price tag close to 400,000 RMB, 56,000 US, 85,000 Australian. Now, it should have the plaid style badge, same as on the Model S and Model X plaid. Now, the previous Model 3 Performance had got a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour time of 3.3 seconds. But no announcement of this new performance figures are available yet. So if it's going to come out in China, here is hoping for Australia and the US maybe. In Norway, and you know they're already selling 90% of battery electric, but 88% of all new cabs or taxis purchased in 2023. 88%. Bergen and Stavanger, and I've been to both those places in Christmas a year ago, 100% of all new cabs were pure electric purchased in 2023. I can confirm that I did see mostly electric vehicle taxis when I was there just a year ago. I saw Model Ys, I saw EQ Mercedes, I saw Kia EV6. It was just amazing. ID4s even. Now, why is this? Well, many district administrations, which is like our local councils, have set deadlines by which all new taxi registrations must be electric. Something for other countries to consider, perhaps. GM and Honda have announced plans for a joint venture. They did this back in 2017 for, wait for it, fuel cell systems manufacturing. Now, not only are they developing fuel cell systems for trucks, but I can almost understand that that's okay, but they're doing it for passenger vehicles as well. Now, battery technology is developing rapidly and hydrogen will not keep up. But Honda have announced a full cell version of its CR-V compact SUV production for this year. Personally, I consider full cells for passenger cars a complete waste of effing time and money. They'll go out of business fairly soon, in my opinion. Now, according to data from a firm, Jato Dynamics, the Tesla Model Y has been confirmed as the best-selling car in the world, beating the Toyota RAV4 and the Toyota Corolla. Now, the Model Y sold 1.23 million cars. The RAV4, 1.07 million, and the Corolla, 1.01 million. So, because the Model Y was the top-selling vehicle, it's obviously the top-selling EV in the world. And these figures from November 23 show that out of the top 3 selling EVs, 2 were Teslas, namely the Y and the 3, but BYD was right up there, although it was a combination of battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrid variants. But as you can see, overall, the Chinese manufacturers are beginning to take over. Now, finally, there is a Tesla Model S in Australia that has just ticked over 700,000 kilometres. Now, it's a 2018 Model S, and the owner says that he's saving around $20,000 Australian per year on fuel and maintenance cost. I mean, wow. He is using it to chauffeur people to and from the airport, I believe. But he recently had to put in new brake pads after 460,000 kilometres. One of the advantages of having good regen braking is that the brake pads hardly get used. But he's also now on his second battery, which I believe he replaced under warranty at 666,666 kilometres, so not that long ago. Now, his original warranty was 8 years, unlimited kilometres. So he bought it in 2018. He's still got 3 years left on the battery warranty. Nice one. Thanks very much for watching. Can you please do me a big favour? Click that like and subscribe button below. It costs you nothing, but it does help me in the channel. Now, if you do want to help me financially, there are links to Ko-fi and Patreon in the description below. And along with that, there's a link for my Tesla referral and a few other useful links that you may find helpful. So just have a look in the description below. And if I remember in the comments, I'll put in the timestamps. So thanks very much, and I'll see you all very soon.